Welcome to the Simplicity of Wellness podcast. I'm your host, board-certified holistic nutritionist and professional life coach, Amy White. The purpose of this podcast is to share information that you can use to become leaner, stronger, and healthier by losing weight, shedding inches, maintaining muscle, and managing your mind, all while living your normal, busy life in this modern, sugar-filled world. Hello, simplifiers. If you listened to last week's podcast, or if you follow me on Instagram, you're probably aware that my husband and I did a big Grand Canyon hike last week. We hiked down the south rim of the Grand Canyon, camped overnight in the bottom of the canyon, and then hiked up to the north rim the following day. This was a strenuous long hike. We thought day one, going down, was going to be pretty easy. But it turned out to be super steep and very hot, unseasonably hot, in fact. We climbed 7 miles down and descended 4,800 feet over those 7 miles. I believe the total hike to our campground was 8 miles, and it took us 5.5 hours without any real breaks. We knew the hike up was going to be hard because 15 miles is hard no matter where you're walking, and we were also carrying weight. So uphill for 15 miles with the extra 20 pounds of my backpack. The hardest part about going up was the documented mileage was off. There's nothing worse than expecting a rest stop at a certain point and then finding out it's further than expected. The reason I'm giving you all of this backstory is because today I want to talk about your body dial. This is a concept that I teach all of my clients. The simple way I explain this is, think of your body as having 3 settings: fat gain or excess energy mode, maintenance or hold steady mode, and then fat burn or what I call high protein mode. For anyone who has a weight loss or really a fat loss goal, you want your body dial set to fat burn mode until you reach your goal, and then you want to reset that dial to maintenance. If you have a weight loss goal, the fat gain or excess energy mode may not make sense. Why would anybody want to be in excess energy mode? It's important to remember every body is different and we all live our lives in different ways with different goals. The excess energy mode is when the body is taking in a lot of calories. I refer to this as fat gain mode because my clients are people who will typically gain fat and weight if their diet is causing them to eat a lot of excess calories. My clients are generally sedentary people. A sedentary lifestyle doesn't require an excessive amount of calories. Now, if you're thinking, well, I'm not sedentary, you might be right, but let's dig into this idea just a little bit more. I personally exercise 3 to 4 days a week with weights. I try to hit 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, but I don't always get there. I also consider myself a mostly sedentary person. My exercise happens during a single 40 to 60 minute block of time. My steps can and do build up over the day, but again, most of my day is sitting at my desk. I have to really focus to get 8,000 to 10,000 steps on a regular day. So even if you exercise, if you spend 7 hours or more of your awake time sitting or laying down, you are considered sedentary. Unfortunately, a busy day will have me at my desk for 5 to 6 hours. As you can imagine, it's not hard to get that extra hour or 2 of sedentary time in the evenings after dinner while you're kind of hanging around waiting to go to bed. So for me, eating excess energy-rich calories in the form of fats and carbs while living my everyday, mostly sedentary life will make it difficult for me to maintain my happy weight. But what about those people who are not sedentary? Professional athletes, for example, who expend tons of energy all day long. Or even regular people who enjoy endurance sports, 100-mile runs or bike rides, training for triathlons and marathons. These people will feel more comfortable with their body dial set more in that excess energy zone. They need these calories to support their activity. Most of the time, my life is mostly sedentary. Last week, my life was not. Last week, during our time hiking in the Grand Canyon, we ate very differently than we do on a normal day. We ate mostly high-energy food, and it made a difference. It really helped us get up and out of the canyon last Friday. I'll give you a detailed explanation of the food we ate versus what we normally eat in a minute. But first, the reason I'm telling you this is to to give an example of lifestyle and or environment change and how that can shift how you choose to eat. A healthy diet is a diet that supports your lifestyle. I think of a healthy diet as one that breaks food into 3 categories: what you eat most of the time, what you eat some of the time, and those foods you eat rarely or never by choice. In my normal sedentary life, my most of the time food is a lot of protein, vegetables, and some fruit with some healthy fat like butter, olive oil, olives, and avocado. When my life shifts to mostly active with an endurance component like our hike last week, my food shifts to more of my sometimes and rarely foods that are high calorie carbs and fats. I tracked my food from last Friday, the day we did our 15-mile climb out of the canyon. That climb took us about 10 hours. I ate about 3,000 calories that day. Those calories came from 1 cup of maple brown sugar gluten-free oatmeal that I started my day with, homemade snack packs of mixed nuts and dried fruit, homemade peanut butter and honey sandwiches on gluten-free bread, homemade peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on gluten-free bread, mini packets of peanut M&Ms, beef sticks, and beef jerky. So here's how my macros broke down for Friday's trail food. 96 grams of protein, 152 grams of fat, 316 total carbs. Again, that added up to about 3,000 calories. 13.3% of those 3,000 calories came from protein. 46% came from fat, and 41% of my calories came from carbs. This is how a typical American diet tends to break down. Most people tend to eat 13 to 14% of calories from protein, which is why most people are overweight. They live a sedentary life in the fat gain food zone. I would be very overweight if I ate like this even half the time. My calories on a typical day at home usually top out at about 1,500 calories. So here's what I ate on Sunday. This is a more typical day for me. I had 1 1/4 cups of low-fat cottage cheese, which is about 31 grams of protein, with 100 grams of chopped pineapple and a chicken sausage for breakfast. Lunch was 5.5 ounces of roasted chicken. Now, normally I have this with salad, but on this particular day, I was deboning the chicken for the week, and so I basically ate while I was deboning the chicken. But I knew I was tracking my food, so I did weigh the amount of chicken that I ate. So I know it was 5.5 ounces. Dinner was an 8-ounce pork chop with 190 grams of roasted butternut squash and 150 grams of roasted broccoli with about a teaspoon of olive oil. I sprayed the butternut squash and I sprayed the broccoli with some olive oil spray. So not a ton of olive oil, but there was olive oil. I also had a snack on Sunday, which was another serving of cottage cheese and pineapple. My total calories for the day came out to 1,445, so just shy of 1,500, with 164 grams of protein, 64 grams of fat, and 78 grams of total carbohydrates. My calorie percentages were 44% of my calories came from protein, 39% came from fat, and 17% came from carbs. When people eat in the fat gain zone, they tend to be chronically hungry because they aren't getting the nutrients their body needs. They feel like they hardly eat anything and can't lose weight, and that's because they really don't eat a lot, but their calories add up very quickly. The nut and dried fruit snack packs that we put together were in those little snack-sized baggies. The total calories for one of those snack packs was 621. 3 of those snack packs, which isn't a lot of food at all, would have your calories over 1,800. For most sedentary people, this will cause weight gain. If you have a weight loss goal, you want your body dial set somewhere within the fat burn zone. You do this by prioritizing protein while limiting excess calories from carbs and fats. If you really want to dial in your protein so that it's working as a weight loss tool, shoot for 40% of your calories coming from protein. Once you hit your goal weight, you can shift your percent of calories from protein down so that you can include a level of carbs and fats that help you maintain your steady, healthy weight. The increase of carbs and fats will be different for everyone. Some people will be more tolerant of carb and fat energy, while others will need to be more selective about what they choose to eat most of the time. I'll talk more about the difference of managing protein as a percent of calories versus number of grams in an upcoming podcast. If you'd like to learn more about macros and protein so that you can feel really good while losing weight, join me on October 25th at 11 a.m. Pacific time for my free masterclass, The Holiday Health Odyssey. What's a holiday health odyssey? It's you knowing how to enjoy the holidays so that you wake up on January 1st feeling better, looking better, and being healthier than you are today, so that you have the body comfort and confidence to say yes when opportunity knocks. In this live interactive masterclass, we'll be covering the best diet practices for blood sugar balance to control cravings and boost energy, ideal protein goals for weight loss without hunger, managing macros so food feels easy, enjoying indulgences without weight gain or self-judgment. Click the registration link below the show notes and then mark your calendar so you don't miss the live masterclass. All right, have a great week. I will be back in the next episode. Do you like the idea of eating for the body you want? Is there a piece of you that's eager to learn how to become leaner, stronger, and healthier without having to overhaul your entire life? If this is you, then you're in luck, because this is what I do. I can help you reconnect and work with your body so that you can enjoy the body comfort and confidence you deserve eating foods you love. Click the free consult link in the show notes. Let's talk about where you are, what you want, and how you can get there.